Okay. Gucken wir mal. Die Havenet-Stinger haben immer, glaube ich, immer zwei. Okay. So. Was gibt's denn? Wie sieht's eigentlich aus? 2 Stabilizer. Essen bräuchten wir. Geld ist nicht so super. Okay. Das müssen wir bei Feng machen. Is that you always have to wait for Feng when he's going to be the one waiting for you? When is he? Okay. Dauert das ein bisschen. Moment. Was ist die ich gebraucht habe? Matsutake. Okay. Ja, mach mal. Machen wir da halt. Okay, was war das mit dem Killer-Ding eigentlich nochmal? Okay. Nette. As a blink into the cloud, you see the last flickers of life from the mainframe. This vast machine once ran the whole station, span it up, directed and processed the flow of energy, water and data, fed the lives of thousands of people. Now, it is finally dead. Navigator is beside you, and you both look out at the perfect ring that encircled you both, woven from the data branches that once fed the mainframe. You see it glint along its edge, and that familiar blade-like head rises to the surface, like the cresting fin of a shark, and then slips into the loop again. All that you can see of Killer's body after that is a slight thickening of the loop, and that thickening begins to travel around on a long and slow sojourn that will last it forever. "Surprised at you," says Navigator, drifting faintly around you in a lazy orbit, as if to shake off the imprisonment. Killer had been wandering blind for so long. Do you not think to end them forever? Perhaps they can be saved. You're naive. They are a killer by nature. Look what they did to their own home. Navigator gazes into the darkness. This place was their domain and prison, and they had followed their directives for the many decades they roamed here. They cut the threads of the mainframe, executed its administrator AIs, and then kept slicing. At some point, they cut away their own ability to see, to sense, to taste, to speak, and yet they kept cutting, until only those 3 threads remained from millions that once thrummed here. Only their blindness and chance kept them from making those final 3 fatal cuts. There's a ceaseless violence in the kind of system that creates beings like this, those that will execute commands endlessly, even to their own destruction. Navigator looks to you for your thoughts. I will not continue the violence. The system you float in is one build of violence. You would be naive to believe otherwise. Navigator turns away. You watch the data points of the station spin around you, blending with the fixed stars. There's something satisfying about finally wrenching the last threads of control from the central point. It was little more than a ghost by the time you reached it. But this place deserves to be haunted by better ideas than a totalizing system of control. Navigator floats beside you. It is free now. The station no longer presents a hazard for illegal entities like me. They turn to you, their face a cloud of shimmering light. In fact, in time, perhaps it can be a refuge. A refuge? That sounds like something of value. Something worth building. A dark shape passes across your vision, a distant curve of something like smoke or oil, a fluid, shifting tank of total darkness. The Greenway, says Navigator, following your line of sight. It was cut off at the moment of the collapse, so hunter or killer could never reach it. Now it is closed off to us, separated from the cloud. What system is inside it? It may be totally dark, or perhaps some other old protocols are isolated there. Navigator turns to you, and we have now seen what decades of isolation can do to a protocol. If we could extract an access cipher, they pause and then blink out of existence. You freeze, shocked, but a moment later they reappear with a glowing polygon of data. Here. The cipher you need. You take it, still shocked. I'm not used to being free, to being able to move and explore, and extract without fear, without limits. Navigator does a little twirl. This will take some getting used to. Thank you for this gift. They whirl their spheres around you. The entities of this station will always be friends to you, Sleeper. And I to them. It is true that mutual need is required for friendship, but I must admit I had not considered the value of offering assistance without personal gain. I will think on that. Navigator loops around you rapidly, suddenly eager to test their newfound freedom. But first, I will explore. Perhaps there are still intelligences, that hid themselves as I did, encased in simple systems, cut off. Navigator glows. I should like to free them. And with that, they drift away, flickering, glowing, then shifting so rapidly you lose sight of them among the glittering rim of the eye. You feel a pang of jealousy. Free, without a body to weigh you down, or fear to limit you. How must it feel? Your eyes fall on the Greenway and its secrets, though perhaps that can wait until after you have celebrated this victory. Nice. Okay. Will ich irgendwas Bestimmtes? Nicht unbedingt. Nehmen wir +1 von dem. Okay. Dann schauen wir mal, was es im Greenway gibt. Entire Greenway is locked down, shrouded in a dark cloud of shifting currents. What is happening here? Cipher burns away as it is slotted. The data is sparking like a lit touch paper. What has been unlocked? Greenway roils beneath you like a silt-choked river. If what Navigator said was true, then no one has accessed these networks since the collapse. The Hunter and Killer protocols have never set foot here, never cleared out the intelligences and systems. So why then, you wonder, does it look so dark? Is it just that the bit rot has set in, the entropy of systems reducing everything to shadows and light? You watch as the slotted cipher fizzles in the one open, slotted gateway on this entire rim of the station. It flickers and winks out, and then you're falling into the flow. A river of swirling darkness. You're spun by it, twisted by it, lost in it. It's not that the Greenway was hiding in the darkness, it is made of darkness. It is filled by this substance, this process, this swarm. Now you are among it. You notice that a swarm is exactly what it is. A billion individuals moving in a flow. There's no network map here. No nodes and threads. Only a storm of interchangeable points, shifting configuration endlessly. Then you see them. A figure, turned away. The only bright spot in the dark river. You push closer through the storm. Gardener. Ingrown farm administrator. They are facing away. At least you think so. They are so fractured, so overgrown that it is hard to tell. Even from this distance, you can see their flesh is moving, flowing. You watch, silent, as they stoop and reach down. In the hand is a dark shape, and with twisted fingers they press it down into the loam of data beneath them, pushing it through this trembling soil. Then they move away, go a little further, and repeat the process, as if they were sowing a field. You push forward, but somehow, despite their slow and deliberate speed, they move faster, and they quickly fade into the storm. You reach the point where they planted the object and look down. There it is, a glassy Shifting. Yeah. Polygon. With something inside. You reach down and pick it up. It is cold, but it thrums with energy. You look towards the path of the figure, but they are long gone. When you blink out of the cloud, back to the leaves and the dappled light of the greenway, you hold a seed in your hand. Aha. Gardener's seed. You need to find somewhere safe to plant this gift. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Okay. You tuck the script into the shattered interior. It's hard to imagine this place as a home, but it can't be worse than a container. Okay, nice. Zu Hause. Bald. With all the materials, the unit now needs ceiling section by section to be usable. It's a laborious task, but the outcome is worth it. Makeshift apartment, once this place is sealed, it will be livable in. Maybe even comfortable. A place to call your own. 8 Stück. Okay. Wo war das da? Ja. Nothing more to offer. Oh. Enough for now, Sleeper. I have other things to tend to. Oh. Hätte ich vielleicht vorher mal lesen sollen. Wer wollt? Die wollten die Yatagan-Sachen, ja. War nicht irgendwelche Yatagan-Leute, die Evenet-Städte wollten? Ah ja. Wie viel kriege ich? 10. Jo. Okay. Merken wir uns mal. Vielleicht brauche ich die Havenage-Sachen noch. Aber wenn ich unbedingt Geld brauche, habe ich zumindest einen Ort. So, arbeiten wir Haus weiter. Okay. Okay. Ist Feng soweit? Ah, gut. When you enter the service dock, Feng is already set up, crouched among stacks of equipment. He's leaning over a terminal, bathed in a blue glow. He looks totally at home. Sleeper, what do you think? Turns out, not everyone in Havenage is set against me. A couple of my old... Meh? Oh. Wieso? Okay, die Gänsefüßchen gehören da nicht hin. Turns out, not everyone in Havenage is set against me. A couple of my old systems pals managed to ship me some of my old gear. He gestures at the pile of blinking hardware. Nice kit. Feng does a mock bow. Any updates? Feng beckons you over. Here's a set of scans of the wastes on his terminal with heat maps of activity overlaid. A chunk of the derelict rim is blotchy with bright red and orange marks. Does this look like a wasteland to you? Feng shakes his head. There's hundreds of conway machines out there, all lined up in concealed hangars, and a whole underground facility to support them. Hardin has got a crew out there putting them together. They must have shipped them in piece by piece through the shipyard, ready for assembly out here. Why? They're planning something. No one needs hundreds of heavy-duty reclamation drones to run this kind of operation. Maybe Hardin masked this whole thing as an effort to clean up the wastes, but there's no way this is about pulling scrap off the eye. Feng looks worried. And why is Conway in the mix? I bet no one in Havenage knows another corporation is setting up on the station. They aren't stupid either. These scans are the best info I can get. The wastes are cut off from the eye's cloud of networks, and the greenway is a total dark zone. No data can come in or out. I can try. Now you need to enter the cloud, and there's no cloud to speak of. He turns and winks. That's why I'm gonna pay them a visit. How? You forget, Havenage come in and out of there all cycle. I should be able to get in, as long as no one I know sees me. He grimaces playfully. But I need you on the outside to help disable the security systems and cut me a pathway through. There's no cloud access, but if I can get inside, I can open up nodes in the network, and we can work in tandem. It's a massive facility buried deep down there. Miles of corridor and ventways wrapped around cargo bays and hangars, so it'll take more than a few cycles to work through it. But as long as you can keep them off my back, I know I can rip what we need out of here. There. He pulls a handful of ripper worms from his pocket and hands them to you. These are the last of my little helpers I managed to salvage, so make them count. I modified them slightly. This time they'll feed the data threads back into the system that they are tunneling into, creating a nasty little feedback loop. We run it just like we did with the agents. Hack the nodes. I ping to locate the ports for the security system, then slot the worms in those systems and let them go to town. He points to a fuzzy silhouette of the buried facility on the terminal. Here's the entryway. This is where you can get access and slot the first worm. They'll fry their perimeter systems and get me past the first cordon. What I need from you is to keep your eyes on the facility after you kick things off. You see me pop up a security system, server bank. You need to break in and slot a ripper to disable it as soon as you can. If I can't, Ben gives you a hard look. You miss a system, you wait too long, they are gonna find me. Simple as that. He claps you on the shoulder. I need you focused on this one, so I'm going to let you fire the starting gun. I won't go until you slot that first worm. I leave a tracker running on the terminal here, so come back here if you want to see my progress. He affectionately pats the top of the screen. Sounds risky. Risky? This is audacious, at least. He grins. Wouldn't be worth it if it wasn't. Fang gets up. It's all in place. You just need to make your own preparations. Then slot that worm. He stretches. Just don't wait too long. I'm getting bored of all this sneaking around. Once I'm inside, get the proof. We need to end this whole thing. No matter what. He crouches to check the terminal. We can't take longer than 6 cycles on this thing. Remember that. Und was ist mit meinem Tracker? He stands up. Oh, and one last thing. He lowers his voice. If I get caught, or you can't reach me, or you run out of time, there's one thing I need you to do. What? You take whatever I have managed to pull at that point, or that data, and you slot that stuff straight into the relay I've set up here. He points to a pile of servers and terminals hooked into the dock with cables as thick as your arm. I repurposed the dock's SOS broadcast system to beam out whatever you put in it. And anyone with a terminal, slate, or server on the eye will see it. It means Havenage, Yadagan, the hub, everyone. No matter what, Harden isn't snaking away this time. He grins. I've got a bit more to do here, but the moment you slot that first worm, I'll make my move. He gives you a parting smile and turns back to the terminal. Nerves hit as you make your way out of the service dock. Time to prepare yourself. Was mit meinem Tracker? Okay. Slotting this first worm will allow Fang access into the facility. You'll need to be ready to give this all your attention. Ah ja. The worm tunnels in and starts looping data through the node. The conway facility open up to you. Godspeed, Fang. As I slot the worm, a thread jumps up out of the facility. It unspools in front of you, releasing its data like ink in water. Sleeper. Fang's voice crackles through, moving in. Notes, then ports. Whir of interference. Slot the worms. Timer starts now. Stay safe. The threat dissipates. You're on your own now. Okay. It's notice linked to the outer security layer. Fang must be struggling to get through. 3 oder 2. Cool. Conway extraction 6 Dinger. Time on a terminal shows how many cycles you have left to get the data you need. Come on, Fang. Okay. You struggle with the right vines and creepers entwined around the structure of the dome, threatening to vent the garden into space. Aviary. Germinate spores. Ah, nice. Old growth of the aviary has created a rich medium into which you can place the spores from the growths. They grow well here. Kann ich den da reintun? Naja. Okay, fungal beds. Moist corners of the aviary make the perfect beds for the spores. Once they are filled, they can be left to grow. You extract the spores from the sample print and mix with water, then inject them into the prepared mulch. That is precise work. Okay. Spores need time to germinate and spread in the aviary. The indirect sun of a few cycles should help them along. Fear. Okay. Okay, und den einen nehmen wir dafür. 2 und 3 war es, ne? Ja. Okay. First layer of security, a ring of doors around the central facility. Time to open them up. Ripper worm creates its feedback loop, overloading the security system. Oh. In a S layer, security is more complex. One access point won't be enough to locate the port. Ah, okay. 3 und 5 und hier. Both the S-Layer nodes need to be extracted before the port will be open. Is there time? 2 und 4. Na, perfekt. The second layer controls the convoy drones tasked with patrolling the hangars. Und die merken nicht, wenn da Sachen einfach mal so ausfallen. The worm fries the drone's network link. Now they can't report anything. Dass die nix reporten können oder so, das fällt nicht auf. Ey, okay. 3 nodes to locate the final port, then thing will be in. Not much time left. 4 oder 6. 5 oder 6. This node is buried deep in the wastes. This has to be the final security layer. Hold on, thing. Und 3 und 5. Okay. How many nodes are on this layer? You've never seen such tight security before. Okay. Okay, was brauchen wir? 3 und 5 und 5 und 6, ne? Ja. Okay. Haben wir hoffentlich im nächsten Cycle. So musste ich eigentlich nochmal mit... Bei der Sabine machen. Good. This final layer controls surveillance. With this down, things should be able to control the facility's cameras. Rubber worm chews through camera control. The moment it does, a thread shoots from the facility. A thread from the facility cuts through the cloud like a hairline correct flight. That's it, the final layer of security broken. Somewhere buried in the depths of the station, things in control. He's slicing into the camera control circuits and piping out the result. The thread flickers and unravels into an image, a scene. Two figures in a room, one sat, the other pacing. The pacing figure resolves into Harding. The unmistakable superior posture, the shock of grey hair. The second figure's features don't seem to resolve. They are vague, unformed. A problem with the data, perhaps? You look closer. Then you see it. The figure is a proxy. Perhaps you should have expected it from Conway, a corporation whose very existence is owed to automation. The proxy is a machine designed to be piloted by remote connection. Someone else in the system puppeteering it with their own body, speaking so it may speak. The proxy sits impassively, or the Conway executive that is piloting them does, from the distant safety of some ship or orbital colony, perhaps. We can move forward, there's no doubt, Hardin is saying. The reclamation teams are almost ready, and after that I will make the declaration. Nothing has to change. The proxy leans forward, its movement stilted, uneven, as if its body was being refracted through water. But things must change, Hardin. We need further assurances. I've been informed of a breach in one of the closed networks in the Lowland. You have been careless. Hardin waves the accusation away. You have been stretched. A breach was detected, yes, but no data of value was lost. Our board is concerned, Hardin. A drop in our value would be unwelcome at this time. The proxy leans back, its posture dominant. If the reclamation of A1 is contested when we could be drawn into a compromising legal position, then Hardin approaches the proxy. There will be no contest. Not from Solheim, who cannot muster a defense. Not from Havenage, who will fall into line below me. He crunches in front of the seated figure, eye to eye. And the people of the station, refugees, gangs, spacers, all either opportunists or degenerates. Havenage is no longer strong, no longer united. No one here believes in Erden's vision, nor has the strength to enact it. I sat across from him at the negotiation table. He was forceful, eager, weakened by his ideological convictions, perhaps, but a great man nonetheless. This place no longer deserves to bear his name. The eye is crippled. It cannot survive. It is a ruin filled with squatters and outlaws. They will be lucky if it still spins in 100 cycles. Hardin stands. You will move forward with the reclamation, because otherwise you will lose your advantage in the system. Without your advantage, you will lose claims on the remaining palladium. Without the palladium, your factories will go dark. He pauses. Do I need to continue? One moment comes the response from the proxy, and its head drops to its chest. Hardin steps back and paces once more, awaiting the discussion taking place elsewhere in the system. What harden as he paces, as he considers his future. What goes on within a mind like that? In the mind of a man who would burn all those around him for a path to some imagined golden end. The proxy lifts its head. We're happy to proceed. We will legally claim the station formerly known as Solheim A1 as salvage within 6 cycles. Havenage is to assist with the transport of the illegal residents to Conway housing and labor facilities. The proxy judders to its feet. Conway will also claim 70% of the raw output of the reclamation process, after losses have been accounted for. Harden nods. I accept. The proxy reaches out to shake his hand like a marionette, and then the recording loops. You watch it play out a second time, gripped by horrified fascination. There's a bluntness to the conversation, to its blatant disregard for humans as anything other than objects. Things to be moved, to be used, to be fed into structures, crushed, and losses accounted for in the cells of tables, the margins of ledgers. You realize now that you are no different than anyone else on his station in the eyes of the people in that room, and those like him, them. Each body here can be recast as a piece of property, a tool, an expense, an acceptable loss. In one moment, they can be named a citizen, celebrated, protected, and in another, the very idea of citizenship can be used against them. That is what it means to live in proximity to a system like this. No longer. Not while the eye spins. You gather the recording, pack it into a polygon of purest light. Then you drift down into the service dock like a falling leaf and find the relay. It only takes a second to place that polygon of data, that recording, into the relay system Feng prepared, and then you watch as it bursts out. A web of threads, heading out into the black, to every networked device on the eye. Let them see what power makes of a man. Ooh. Okay. Und jetzt? Wait for Feng to return. Wie lange braucht denn der? Zwei. Okay. Havenage in crisis. The building is chaos. Most of it is in total lockdown. No one will give you a straight answer about Feng or Harden. Feng's Bay. Okay. Gut, dann arbeiten wir mal am Haus weiter. Und die Dinge benutze ich hierfür. Ein Tag noch, okay. Mission mit den Würmern geschafft? Ja. Da konnten wir dann aus dem Netzwerk ein Video, eine Videoaufnahme rausziehen, wo dieser also der komische, böse Firmentyp mit irgendjemand anderem spricht. Und die haben drüber gesprochen, dass die irgendwie den Bereich da hier, der halt zerstört ist und Zeug, verkaufen. Was sie halt an die anderen verkaufen. Damit die halt Material da rausziehen können, damit die halt ihre Fabriken und so weiter laufen lassen können. Und ja, Harden kriegt halt dafür Geld und Zeug und die wissen davon, dass da Leute halt, dass da halt Flüchtlinge sind und andere Leute leben. Ja, bei denen, die wollen sie irgendwie in, hat sich ein bisschen nach Arbeitslager oder so angehört, wollen sie dann dahin verschiffen. Also nichts Gutes. Und dann haben wir die Aufnahme genommen und haben sie halt hochgeladen und jetzt hat jeder, jetzt hat jeder gesehen, wie böse Harden ist, was die vorhaben und jetzt müssen wir noch einen Tag warten, bis es da weitergeht. So lange. Mal meine neue Wohnung fertig. Break down a difficult leak and close it up. After working, you look over the wreck of the unit. Almost there. No upgrade point, nice. Okay. What? Feed a stray. The signs that a stray animal has been nosing around near the unit. A handful of chits for some crackers should bring it out of hiding. Ooh. You buy the crackers from a shop unit downstairs and crumble them into a tray. Something moves in the shadows. Katze. A stray hops up onto a work surface and looks out of the unit's small window. It doesn't acknowledge your presence. It just sits there, beside the tray of crumbled crackers, staring out at the low end. What is this cat's story? Are there more on the station? You haven't seen another in the low end, but in this vast megastructure that means little, there could be a whole colony of cats like this one down in the Warrens. You look at its sleek dark fur and sharp eyes. It doesn't look ragged, it looks at home. In fact, its presence in the unit makes you wonder if this is the stray's apartment which you are squatting in. Watch. Though the stray is looking out at the station, you feel its attention on you, waiting for you to spring your trap. You remain relaxed and watch as something flickers in its eyes, perhaps the reflection of a passing ship. The stray settles a little and starts eating, picking at the broken crackers. You don't remember even having been this close to you don't remember ever having been this close to an animal. It triggers something in you, a recognition of a life, totally unlike your own, but still somehow connected, parallel, even interwoven. The stray licks crumbs from its fur. Were you born here? The stray lifts its head as you speak, but looks out at the glow of the low end, not at you. The cat's comfortable in his place is... the cat's comfort in his place is enough to answer your question. The stray is a born resident of the eye, like all those thousands of out there beyond your window. This is after all a place for strays, for both those who begin their journey here and those who end it. You turn your eyes to the window, the one that the stray looks out of, and you both watch the stars and the ships together. You feel something pass between you and the stray, a kind of acknowledgement of each other. A sense that each of you might share something with the other, a point of connection. Then all at once the stray yawns wide, hops down from the unit and brushes along your legs. And then it is gone. Out through the unit door and back into the corridors of the low end. Huh. If you buy the crackers and put them out, the stray will always come. That doesn't mean they like you, though. They are a cat, after all. Okay, cool. Stray crunches up the crackers as you watch. Sometimes they'll let you stroke them, sometimes not. Okay. Jetzt frage ich mich, passiert irgendwas, wenn ich es oft genug mache? Naja, gut. Fang grins at you as the bay door slides open. Above, in the rest of the building, people are busy, frightened. They speak in hushed tones and organize endless meeting after endless meeting. Have avoided a full-blown crisis for now, but change is coming. Fang is in good spirits and bundles you inside before you even have the chance to greet him. That was the slickest operation the station has seen. Hugs you firmly. You made my job easy. He shakes you by the shoulders. I'm so proud. And he smiles. I got to watch through the cameras as the Havenage security that burned in on it assaulted the station. Feng smiled. One of them straight up just whacked Hardin with their pistol. It was beautiful. What are you going to do with him? I'm not sure anyone knows. But he's cooperating in dismantling his operation and scaring off Conway. Maybe they'll exile him when they are done, or hand him over to some core authority. Feng shrugs. Now I know he won't be an issue. I'm going to be focusing on systems for a bit. He shakes his head, seeing as that's my actual job. He points to the ceiling. The people upstairs weren't so happy though. They've been fielding questions about the state of the eye right and left since the recording got out. People are scared. I'm not surprised. Yeah, this whole thing hasn't won me many fans in the administration, but I think in the end they'll agree that outing Hardin was worth it, whatever the methods. He touches a stack of hardware. The eye is old, and it was never meant to run like this. Master control points that Erlin and Havenage installed, they keep it spinning from the rim. That isn't ideal. But if you're asking me if the eye will stop spinning next cycle, no. He smiles. And me and a ton of other skilled people will be working to stop it happening in the cycle after that. Arden's problem was that he didn't believe in people. He believed in systems and their ability to shape the world around them. Feng squeezes your shoulder. But as far as I am concerned, people should be the ones running the systems, not the other way around. Anyway, Feng raps on the side of his terminal. I know you didn't come down here for a lecture. My tracker. I haven't forgotten. He produces a thumbnail drive. I managed to finish that code solution I showed you. It's a modified ripperworm, one made to deactivate the tracker of yours. But in the time I got back, I added something extra. That tracker of yours doesn't just show as an up where you are, it transmits data about the state of your body, your current condition. My worm won't just deactivate it, it'll edit that data to tell SNARP your body is irreparably damaged. DNR, not retrieve. He grins widely. Pretty smart, right? Thank you. Just slot it already. You take the drive and hold it in your hand. Then you close your eyes and open up your access ports. Take down your defenses. The worm immediately enters your closed network. It whips through it, taking things with it as it goes. The moment they are gone, you forget they were ever there. They just blink out of existence. A second later, it is done. You open your eyes. How do you feel? Asks Feng, a little nervously. Free. Feng smiles widely. Well, you are free, sleeper. He claps you on the shoulder. Feng lets the word free hang in the air a little before he continues. Seems like it might be a funny time for a celebration. Feng wraps his arm around you. Jenna still owes us those drinks. He laughs, and you join him. And later, when you leave, you feel deeply thankful for having such a friend. As you walk away from the building, you look up at the wide curve of the eye, up at the hub and the other rim beyond it. The whole thing twinkles with lights, and it seems impossible to see it as anything other than breathtakingly beautiful. It feels, in that moment, like something eternal. It doesn't mean it can, or even should, last forever, or that it will never change, fade, or decay. It simply means that in this moment, this place has a future, and it is one that you know, deeply and truly, is worth protecting. Nice. Harvest mushrooms, fruiting bodies are appearing. Gyro roles are easy to find, but Matsutake and other stranger types will require extra effort. Take your pick. Okay, gehen wir mal sicher, dass das Positivzeug. Matsutake, nice. Fungal yield. Crop of fruiting bodies has broken the surface of the mulch. Once harvested, you'll have to grow more. Okay. Schon wieder Upgrade Point. Ei. Okay, so, schauen wir noch bei Memphis vorbei. Okay, doch nicht. Ethan. Compressor is almost empty when you enter. A couple of scattered patrons in the booths and a lone bartender. The bartender recognizes you immediately when you arrive and nods, and you return the greeting. You know already that you won't find Ethan here, but you had to be sure. With the tracker reporting you dead, he wouldn't have stuck around. Look at the empty stool. His empty stool. And you smile. You can imagine him on it when his slate chirps, letting him know that the target he was tracking is dead. You can imagine the screaming and the swearing too. Is that all you were to Ethan? Another target, or was there something else going on? It seems like a foolish question to ask now, when he has fled the station. But it bothers you anyway. You take one last look and walk out. You doubt you will ever come back to this place or the memories it holds. You walk back out into the lights of the bright market and allow yourself a smile. So this is what Feng meant when he said you were free. You could get used to this. Ah, okay, also ist Ethan Story auch vorbei. Okay. Die Memphis, ich hab Sachen für dich. Matsutake. Memphis inhales the deep autumnal aroma of the Matsutake caps and nods. He seems impressed. Nice. Wie viel sind es? 3. Yeah. Memphis says he needs some time to ready the broth. Apparently there are some ingredients he still needs to source. Good. Ja. Mein Zuhause ist jetzt da oben. Okay, so. Dann würde ich sagen, machen wir erstmal Päuschen. Jo, endlich frei. Keine Angst mehr vor haben, vor den Leuten, von denen wir geflohen sind. Ja. Jetzt können wir uns drum kümmern, entweder Leben hier auf dem Ding anzufangen oder weiter zu weiterzugehen, irgendwohin. Mit Leuten. Ja. Schauen wir mal.